Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Hope you're all having a great week and you're doing well. If you are a new viewer or a returning viewer to this YouTube channel and you haven't done so already, please make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribing shows your support for all the content that I do, and it's much appreciated, and it's absolutely free, doesn't cost anything at all, and it all really does help. And also don't forget to share the videos as well, it really does help as well. And make sure you don't forget to like this video, click the thumbs up button on the video, it only takes a second, and also don't forget to click the bell so you are notified for any new videos that I do or live streams on the channel next. But yeah, I'm going to preview our clash against the Brisbane Broncos this Saturday, and we're taking on them down there at Suncorp Stadium in round 17 of the NRL competition. And the boys are looking to bounce back after that disappointing performance and result against the Panthers at home last weekend. I will say this, we had a massive opportunity, and I know we suffered injuries during the game. Marata Niokore with an HIA. Metcalf was, suffering with a cork injury. We had Dallin come off with a knee injury, and he's going to be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So, look, that didn't help during the game, but still no reasons why we couldn't get, a result and play a lot better than what we did. I think, for the first half, I thought we were, very poor, and, the second half, we had a few opportunities when we got to the lead, and then, it was just a really disappointing performance overall. But, look, we want to put that game in the rear vision mirror and move on from that game, and we have to bounce back this week, especially up against the Broncos team, who are coming off a win over the Sharks last week at home, and they're looking to get back-to-back wins at Suncorp Stadium. And, look, the Broncos in that game against the Sharks, first half, pretty average, I thought, but then the second half, they fought back very well to manage to get the result in the end. But this is a massive game. It's a huge game for the Warriors. We're sitting in 4th on the ladder coming into this one. The Broncos currently sitting in 5th spot. We're 6 points ahead of them on the ladder. So if we can win this game, that puts a bit of a gap between the Broncos, Sharks, and those teams below us on the ladder for that top 4 spot. So yeah, it's huge. It's massive. And look, the last time we played the Broncos, obviously we beat them in a very close game at home. We won. I think it was a penalty goal that Luke Metcalf kicked with, of course, Broncos Reece Walsh having a bit of a very bad mistake, kicking the ball out on the full, and we got the ball, and I think it was, we kicked for goal, and then we won the game via the penalty goal in the end. So, look, in terms of this game, of course, coming into it, we've got a few changes, so just go through the lineups. So, Warriors lineup here, so fullback Chancellor Klugstad. On the wing is Ed Kosi. So Ed Kosi comes in for Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, who's going to be missing, unfortunately, for the 4 to 6 weeks due to a knee injury. So bit of a shame for Dallin, and I know Dallin's form has not been great since he's been back in the side. A lot's been made of it. People are saying he should be dropped for Tane Tuapiki, and look, I do agree on that one, and all due respect to Dallin, but yeah, his form has not been good since coming back from injury, unfortunately, and now he's suffered another injury, which is, it's a real shame. You don't, look, as much as you want to see someone like a Tane or Ed Kosi in the side, it's a real shame that, Dallin is injured. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery and gets back soon. But Ed Kosi gets an opportunity in first grade to come back into the side. So then we got the centre pairings of Adam Pompey and return to the side from a hamstring injury. It is Rocco Berry. And then the other side of the field, we got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the other wing, and then the halves, of course, of Luke Metcalf and Chanel Harris-Tavita, with Harris-Tavita being 5'8" for Luke Metcalf halfback. And then Fisher Harris is the prop and the captain. Wade Egan hooker, and then Marata Niokore has been named to play, which is really surprising. After last week, thought he was going to be ruled out for this one. But it looks like he's fit. Looks like he's passed the protocols for the HIA. So yeah, thought there was going to be an 11-day stand down, and he was going to be unavailable for this one. But really surprised he's been named to play in this game. So that probably means he's fine to play by the looks of things there. So, which is good news for us. But also very good news is the boost of having Kurt Capewell back in the side after his great performance for the Maroons in Game 2 in State of Origin in Perth. And boy, I think we did miss him last week, especially against the Panthers at home. Albeit I know we only lost one player due to Origin, but still, we definitely did miss him, I felt like, in that game last week. So it's good to have him back in the second row, but he's actually starting in the second row with Jacob Laban. And then, of course, lock and 13 is Aaron Clark. Now, our bench reads Tamari Martin, Jackson Ford, Dimitri Vamawanga, and Leka Halasima. And the reserves of Tanner Stowell-Smith, Tana Boyd, Samuel Healy, Bunty Afoa, and Tane Tuapiki. And, of course, head coach is Andrew Webster-Webby. So that's the Warriors team. So we'll have a look at the Broncos team here. So fullback Reece Walsh, Josiah Karapani on the wing, and they've got Katoni Staggs, of course, in the centres with Jamit Shibasaki. Jesse Arthur's on the other wing, and Ezra Mann 5'8" with Adam Reynolds. Then you got Corey Jensen prop and Corey Pace the hooker. So you got and then Payne Haas, of course, and in the second row you got Brendan Piakura and Jordan Rickey, and then also the lock of Patrick Carrigan. So that's the Broncos lineup there for the starting side. And then the bench reads Billy Walters, Kobe Harrington, Xavier Wilson, and Jack Shivasaki, and the reserves of Tyson Smoothie, Selwyn Cobbo, Dean Mariner, Jaden Hunt, and Ben Tully. And the coach, of course, is Michael Maguire there for the Broncos. So that's the lineup. So, yeah, look, in terms of the Warriors team, I think this is the strongest side that we can name, albeit with a few injuries. And the biggest talking point, I think, from the Warriors side in terms of the lineup is the fact that despite a bit of concern last week, it is Luke Metcalf being named at halfback, and like going into this one, I felt like if he wasn't fully fit, I think I personally would have played Tana Boyd at halfback. But look, the good news for the Warriors is it sounds like Luke Metcalf is going to be good to go based on the selection this week there. But look, if he's not fit. You've got Tana Boyd named in the reserve, so maybe a potential if he doesn't pass his fitness test, that Tana Boyd could make an appearance in the Warriors jersey for the first time this year up against this Broncos team. But that's also if things don't go well for Metcalf in the training sessions during the week leading up to this game. But hopefully Metcalf's fit. But if he's not fit, Tana Boyd could definitely do the job. I think he's played very good for that New South Wales Cup side this year, and he's been really killing it for that team, and he's doing all he can to get selected, but still not quite yet getting into the first grade side this season. Very happy with the bench. Actually, I think our bench is probably the strongest when you compare the two sides. Just looking at it. So yeah, Jackson Ford, Vaimawanga, and Halasima. I think Halasima we'll probably see come on maybe at the back end of the first half for someone like a Capewell. Capewell might get a rest. We might see him come on for Capewell, or we might see him come on for Jacob Laban. Either way, I think he's going to bring plenty of impact coming onto the field. I think Lecker's going to do a great job with his speed and his power game, and I think it's going to be good to have him on against some of the tiring Broncos forwards and outside backs there, and I think he's going to really provide a good impact for the Wars off the bench. And he's done a great job for us consistently starting this year. So I think this is a very good move by Webby to, bring him on to the bench. We've got Cape Wells and Labens in that second row there, which I think will do the job. But yeah, just looking at it, of course, then you got, unfortunately for Tane, another one I want to mention is, very unfortunate to miss out. Look, I feel like, going into this week, well, in my predicted Warriors team, I had Tane Tuapiki on the wing over Ed Cossey. I think Ed Cossey's been playing some good football in New South Wales Cup this year in reserve grade. He's, I know, look, he's, a player that a lot of people are quite critical of when he's come into first grade. I put my hand up and said I've been pretty critical of some of his performances when he played for us. But I think when he's come into first grade, in the past, I think he's done much better. I think the first couple of games he's, had a few bad moments, mistakes, errors, and I think he's done pretty well this season for the New South Wales Cup side. I think he's really improved his game a bit. I think the thing that probably gets the advantage for me for Ed Cossey is probably his post-contact meters and the fact that he's a much bigger winger in terms of Tane Tuapiki. And look, Tane, I think the thing for me that Tane gets is probably his speed. He brings a lot more in terms of the attacking side of things. I think defence is probably the one problem that Tane has when he's played on the wing this year for the Warriors. He's been caught out a few times. Look, Dallin's not the only one. Tane's also had a few moments when he's been playing wing this year. But, of course, Tane has been better on at fullback. And we saw that in New South Wales Cup. He's defended well at fullback in the past and done very well in terms of attack and what he brings to the table there. But, yeah, I think it's the right move for me. As much as some people are a bit annoyed that Tane isn't in the side. And I love Tane, but I think Ed Cossey can do the job there. For me, and hopefully Ed brings his best performance in his best game, and that's what my fingers are crossed from for the Warriors in particular, and he needs to be against this Broncos side for sure, because I think the Broncos will look to probably target him a lot during the game, especially the likes of Reynolds with his kicking game and Mam as well. So, but yeah, look, Tane's very unfortunate, very unlucky, man. He's been playing some good footy. I'm glad to hear he's doing okay after that massive tackle, high shot, dog shot, which was in that New South Wales Cup a couple of weeks ago, where he got collared. He just got smashed, and it was good to see that he's doing all right and recovered from that too. So, but yeah, look, not really much to complain about in terms of that lineup. I don't really see too many changes come kickoff time. Maybe a bit of a change in terms of the forwards. On the bench, and it might be a bit of a rotation there come kickoff time with what Webster does with that side, but I don't think we'll see too much of a change, bearing if there are players that don't pass his fitness test this week. Someone like a Metcalf, if he's not quite all right, he might not play this game. Who knows? But by the looks of things, he probably might be playing this game, but which is good. Glad it's not a serious injury, I think the thing that I was worried about coming out of that game was I was hoping it's not a hammy spell, because he's had some hammy injuries in the past which have kept him out for the whole season. So I was glad it was just a cork and nothing more of it. But is it a risk, not, if he's not fully fit to play in this game? Well, look, we shall see. We shall see what happens there. But look, as terms of the Broncos lineup, as expected, really no shocks to be honest. I think the biggest threat for the Warriors in terms of Broncos perspective, in terms of the players we should be watching out for, definitely Reece Walsh. Now, I know Reece Walsh has been very inconsistent this year. He's had his ups and downs. In terms of form-wise, it's not been at his best. He's also come off on a bit of an injury layoff as well. Look, things that I've probably noticed with Reece Walsh is probably his speed has been a bit down since returning to the first grade side after his injury. So, yeah, Reece Walsh, man, look, didn't have his greatest game against us the last time he played, so he's going to look to make a bit of amends. But also, I think player to watch definitely is Katoni Staggs. Katoni Staggs in that centre position. And also, I feel like, Adam Reynolds. I talked about Adam Reynolds. He's definitely the key for the Broncos. If he kicks well, plays brilliantly, he's gonna make it really difficult for this Warriors lineup, especially our outside backs. If he makes us kicks to corners, makes it difficult for our outside backs to gain meters. It's going to be really, really challenging for those players, especially. And also the four pack's going to be massive. So we've got Pirakura, Ricky, Carrigan, and Haas. And of course for us, you got Niokore, Capewell, Laban, and Clark. So I think with that four pack, the Warriors four pack's going to have to step up and play a massive role. I think our four pack last week wasn't too bad against Penrith. I didn't do such a bad job on the field. I think we did alright in terms of meters for our four pack. Fisher Harris probably had a bit of probably got simply outplayed last week against Moses Leota, I thought, in my opinion. So Fisher Harris will want to have a big one this one. But Payne Haas is going to be very much the key, I think, for the Broncos in terms of their pack and go forward. We know what he can bring with his offloads, the meters he makes. We saw that for New South Wales in Game 1 of the series. But yeah, the Warriors are just going to have to limit the likes of Payne Haas's impact as much as possible. If they can do that, that will go a long way for the Warriors, to stop this Brisbane side. But yeah, they've got strengths across the whole field, I think, Brisbane. Although they've not been probably at their best this season, Brisbane. They've been very much hit and miss inconsistency in terms of their performance. A lot of people expect Brisbane to be up there in that top four. But yeah, I think with regards to the Brisbane Broncos lineup, they've got a very potent four pack. They've got some very good outside backs, and it's a very good side with the strengths. I think the biggest thing the Warriors do have over the Broncos in terms of the bench, I think it's a big one actually, because I feel like our bench is a lot better than what the Broncos do have. They've got some handy players on the bench, but I think we've got in terms of the impact, we can bring on someone like a Ford, a Vai Moanga, and they can provide plenty in terms of impact on the field. And then you got Leka as well. So yeah, I think the bench for the Warriors is a lot better. If I probably say that we've got the wood over them on the bench. I think the key battles for me in this one in particular, you got Reynolds up against Metcalf, the young calf Luke Metcalf, up against the experience of Adam Reynolds, and I think that's going to be huge. If the Warriors can win the battle, and if Metcalf can win that head-to-head over Adam Reynolds, I think that's going to go a very long way to getting the result in this particular game. And also Harris Tavita as well up against Mam. I think Harris Tavita, has been good for us this season. Had a bit of a quiet one last week against the Penrith Panthers. He is going to look to step up. But yeah, I think overall, those are the key battles I've covered up on. I think the most exciting matchup, I think, is going to be the Fisher Harrises up against the Jensens. You got Payne Haas again up against I think he's up against Niokore. So I think those are probably the most exciting battles for me in terms of this game. But yeah, I think that's covers up on the key matchups overall. The betting prices in terms of this game, we've got the Broncos at Sportsbet here in Australia with them at $1.57 favourites, and we're paying $2.41, which is a bit of a crazy price to be outsiders, in particular this game. I thought our price would be a lot better than that, but I know we lost last week against an understrength Penrith side at home, but Brisbane haven't been convincing this season. So look, Brisbane were good against the Sharks in their second half. They're not been outstanding, so they're definitely beatable, and they're definitely not been, perfect, the Broncos, but look, obviously they can be a real threat when they're on. So I think for me, looking at it, it's just the head-to-head, Brisbane have won 22 games head-to-head, and we've won 22. So it's evenly matched at 22 wins apiece in the head-to-head, one draw. The last time we played the Broncos, of course, was earlier this year in round 7 at home, and we won that 20 points to 18. That was very close, and I'm expecting this game to be close as well. I'm expecting it to be a really tight contest between these two sides. And of course, round 17, 2024, we won 32 points to 16. I think that was last year against the Broncos there. So we have better them, and I know the last time we played the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium, of course, it was in the finals, and the Broncos won that game rather convincingly on the scoreboard. So, yeah, look, I think different Brisbane side, obviously, different players, different coach back then, but yeah, look, Brisbane generally at home at Suncorp Stadium when we played them. We haven't beaten them at Suncorp Stadium in a while too. I think it was 2019 the last time we beat the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium. 2019, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I think that's a stat worth noting there. But yeah, look, I just feel like this game is a crucial game for the Warriors. If we can win this game, we're currently 6 points clear of the Broncos in terms of the top 4. Broncos are sitting in 5th. If we can win this game, puts a bit of a daylight in terms of the gap to the teams chasing that 4th spot on the ladder, and pushes us even further, away from potentially dropping out of the top 8. And look, I don't think we're going to drop out of the top 8, to be honest, but we don't want to be going to the final bye of the season with back-to-back losses. It's crucial that we win this game. It's really important for the boys to bounce back. We haven't had a back-to-back loss this year, so hopefully that stat remains intact and we don't get one here against the Broncos. And I know we're massive underdogs, but we've done pretty well away from home this year. Our form has been good away on the road in Australia. I think we've only lost one game in Australia this year, and that was against the Storm. So we're looking to continue on that good record away from home. And up against this Brisbane side, it's going to be a tricky matchup, a tough game. Broncos looking to get a bit of redemption themselves against the Warriors after losing to us early in the season, a close one. So, yeah, look, I am expecting a fired-up Broncos team and a confidence Broncos team after last week's result. And hopefully, fingers crossed that we can get the 2 points, and we're really going to need it at Suncorp Stadium this week going into our final bye. And I think if we can do that, that will give us a bit of confidence going off that bye into the back end run of the season, where we can get enough wins to keep ourselves in that top 4 and push for potentially a higher spot. But I think at the moment we're just challenging for that top 4 spot and staying in the top 8. I think that's going to be really important moving forward. We need to be in that top 4 come the end of the season. It gives us a second chance in the finals and a home final at that too. So in terms of a prediction now, look, for me, I'm going to go Warriors to win this one. Go Warriors 24-14 Broncos. And first try scorer, just looking at the first try scorers and anytime try scorers, I'm going to say probably, I'm going to back in Ed Cossey to score first try scorer. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to back in Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, RTS. And for the Warriors again, I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Kurt Capewell. Why not? Kurt Capewell score a try. As for the Broncos, anytime try scorer, we'll say probably Katoni Staggs, I think, may go over. Jesse Arthurs. I think also Brendan Peter-Kura to go over to score for the Broncos there. And I think we'll win this one 24 points to 14. And in a game which will be a bit of a bounce back for us. Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully it is. But I think we can get the job done. How confident am I? Well, I would say 60 to 70% at the moment. Hopefully we can get the job done. And look, we're going to need to going into the most important time of the season. And if we do, we can put a bit of a gap between us and those chasing that top 4 spot. Now, guys, also just a reminder, I just want to give a big shout out to the massive event coming up on Saturday at the Lord Alfred Hotel on Petrie Terrace, on the corner of Caxton Street. It is the Warriors fans meet up there. Once again, it is going to be a massive event. We have already had 2 fan events there at Lord Alfred this year, courtesy of the Warrior Nation. Shout out to Richie Morgan, who does all the organising with the Warriors fan meetups in Queensland, Sydney, and all around Australia. And I believe there's going to be a few more at the back end of the season as well, so keep an eye out for that one. Go and follow the Warrior Nation and join their Facebook groups, and that's where you'll find all the information for all the Warriors supporters meetups for the games in Australia. But yeah, big event. So Saturday down there at the Lord Alfred Hotel, corner of Caxton Street, Petrie Terrace. It is a free event. Obviously, food and drinks, you have to pay for those, obviously. But it starts at 11 a.m. I think 11 a.m. Queensland time, Australia time. So yeah, for Warriors fans who are coming over from Sydney, coming over from Brisbane or the Gold Coast, or around, or coming across from New Zealand, if you guys want to get amongst the Warriors supporters, Lord Alfred Hotel is where you need to be on Saturday morning. It starts early at 11 a.m. and I believe there's going to be all sorts of stuff happening there. There'll be face painting for the kids. There'll be prizes, jerseys to be won. There's a lot going on, and also there's a post-game event as well, run by the Warrior Nation, Richie Morgan, and that will be at the Lord Alfred Hotel after the game. And there is going to be, I believe, a DJ, entertainment, music, and all sorts of stuff, and winning jerseys, prizes, and all sorts. So make sure you do pop into the Lord Alfred Hotel, and big shout to the Warrior Nation who run that event. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great seeing all the Warriors fans there, and I believe there's going to be a march to Suncorp Stadium at 2 o'clock outside the Lord Alfred Hotel, just on the top of the Lord Alfred Hotel, the street there. So there'll be a march for the Warriors fans to pop on down to the game, and that should be good as well. So it's all happening on Saturday. I will be there, guys, so if you do see me, come and say hello, chat about the game, talk footy, just have a chat with me about the game this week. If you do see me, come and say hello. I'll be at the Lord Alfred Hotel for a bit there, for a few hours, and then I'll be there at the stadium. So if you do spot me at the stadium, come and say hello. I know there's some people that have said they've seen me in the past, and don't be afraid to come and say hello to me if you do see me. If you see me in person, come and say hello. I know some people have commented they've seen me in the past, but yeah, come see me and have a chat. But yeah, I'll be there with bells on, cheering on the boys. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great vibes. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant around the stadium. A lot of Warriors fans will be there. It's going to be huge. There'll be a lot of chanting, singing, up the waz. It will be happening. It's exciting times. And it sounds like the weather's going to be good as well, so which is great. I know there's a lot happening around that Brisbane area, especially Suncorp, with the Rabbitohs also playing the Dolphins after our game. So it's going to be busy, Brisbane, but it's going to be great vibes, no doubt about it. And looking forward to seeing all you Warriors fans there to cheer on the boys, and hopefully we can bring home the 2 points, which is going to be massive. But be there, and have a great rest of the week, everyone. Have a good weekend coming up also. I will be vlogging the game as well, so for those of you wondering if there will be a vlog, there will definitely be one for this game. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be coming back from Brisbane to the Gold Coast with a win. Hopefully we will be happy fans on Saturday, guys. But please don't forget to like this video, click that thumbs up button on the video, share the video as well, subscribe to this YouTube channel. More importantly, I noticed that we're getting very close to that 3K subscribers. We're on the 2,970 73 subscribers. So let's push the subscriber count up to that 3K subscriber milestone achievement. So let's see if we can get there real soon. Subscribing is, guys, absolutely free as well. All you got to do is click that subscribe button if you are watching the videos and you haven't done so already, and you're a new viewer or returning viewer. Hit that subscribe button, guys. And also, don't forget to like the video. Click the thumbs up button on this video. Liking the video is absolutely free as well, and it all helps, and it shows you enjoy the content. And don't forget to click the bell. Comment your predictions down in the comment section down below. How much do you think the Warriors is going to win by? Your first trial scorers, anytime trial scorers. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.